Hey guys, how you doing? So it's been a whirlwind last week with Master Pedro Sauers visiting us in Meadowbrook, and then I went up with him and James to Sydney to hire jiu-jitsu to the seminar there. And yeah, it's an incredible experience spending a lot of time with Master Sauers, and not just the technical side that's unbelievable. You can't possibly fathom that a whole bunch of black belts who have been doing jiu-jitsu for 30 years each are just sitting there dumbfounded at the simplicity of Master Sauers' technical suggestions and problem solving, and not just that, but like the networking is amazing too. When you get a whole bunch of black belts by themselves in a room, not just talking about jiu-jitsu, but talking about business and all these sorts of things and the struggles that we all face. It's not easy being a black belt running an academy, especially one like ours. It's relatively new. There's a lot of challenges. But what I found was most incredible was at his Sydney seminar, and I knew that he had a difficult childhood and got in a little bit of trouble like a lot of people do. But he was most likely, if it was these days, he would have been diagnosed as having ADD or something like that, because he had a lot of energy. He was super smart. That was the problem. He was really, really intelligent, and it's often the case with kids who are like ADD. They're really intelligent kids. They get bored because they're receiving the information and they understand it really quickly, and the other kids don't. So like they get bored, and then when they get bored, they start mucking around, and then they get in trouble, and then the parents get called and stuff like that. So it was very interesting hearing him talk about that. Also, the draconian style of trying to fix it back then was like electroshock therapy and psych wards and all sorts of crazy stuff. It was incredible to hear about his childhood. But then he found Helio Gracie, and he'd been tempted to do jiu-jitsu for a while. Hickson had been goading him into trying jiu-jitsu. He was a boxer when he was young, and a little reluctant to try jiu-jitsu, but then he started with Helio and Hickson. And his mother was very concerned that he wouldn't be able to learn it, that he was a bit of a dropout and stuff like this, which clearly is not the case. The guy is a very successful finance broker. He runs 150 plus academies around the world. He's one of the most famous instructors of all time, one of the most gifted, technically gifted instructors in jiu-jitsu in the history of the art. But when he was a child, they thought he was an idiot. And it's incredible. So he met Helio Gracie, and Helio said to his mum, well, if I gave him $100, would he put it in his pocket or would he eat it? And she's like, well, he'd put it in his pocket. And he goes, so the kid's fine then. Yeah, he just needs guidance. If he's got all this energy, let's put it to use. And then that was the start of Pedro Sauers becoming Pedro Sauers. It's incredible, you know. And I see, all coaches see a lot of this these days. There's a lot of kids with like ADHD and autism and all sorts of things, you know. And a lot of it has to do with social media. Kids not getting out and about, especially young boys. You know, they're not out getting lost in forests and climbing trees and finding haunted houses and stuff anymore. Like, they're literally locked at home or stay at home with devices, and they don't get to use all this energy that young boys have to get rid of. And if they don't get rid of it, just like dogs, training dogs taught me a lot about training humans, because if dogs don't get walked first thing in the morning, what happens? They have all this energy saved up. The owner leaves the house, the dog barks like crazy, tears the house up, and they go, bad dog. Well, it's not bad dog, it was bad owner for not walking the dog in the morning, for probably overfeeding it. When they get back, take the dog for another walk, yeah, right? And don't feed it lots, because like that's just an energy source for them. So it was incredibly inspiring hearing from Pedro about his childhood. Mine was not dissimilar. I guess back then I would have been seen as ADD as well. I still need to train a lot every day to be able to sleep properly, and it was incredible to hear somebody in his stature talk to 100 plus people in the room about his past and how difficult it was, and how we need to channel hyperactive children towards using their energy as opposed to like giving them medication to try and just squash it. So that was incredible. But it was amazing to just spend some time with Pedro. You know, I've known him for like 14 years now, and unofficially represented him the whole time. Officially represented him for like a year now, and it's a great honor for me to represent him and pass on his jiu-jitsu and his teachings and his philosophy on jiu-jitsu, which was further reinstated during this trip, which is keep it playful, have fun with jiu-jitsu, don't muscle techniques, don't see each other as an adversary on the mat. It's very important. You get 25% of your learning is going to be from your teammates, you know. So if somebody taps you, you don't turn around and go, right, let's go again, in a threatening way, like you're going to try and get revenge, because now he's an adversary. Yeah, right? And unless it's done in a very fun, playful way and you know the person, again, keeping it playful, learning from each other, not seeing us as adversaries, not trying to kill each other all day. He also said, and it's something that obviously me at 55 can understand, you know, as well as most with all the physical injuries that I've had. Again, most of my injuries I had before I started jiu-jitsu. I started jiu-jitsu at 27, which is quite late, but I'd already amassed a lifetime of serious injuries from a lot of other sports. And so I started with a broken body, right? But the worst thing is that just as you start to really get a handle on really nice jiu-jitsu, you know, which is like in the over 50 kind of range, you know, then your body lets you down. Because when you were young and silly, you were smashing yourself and using bad mechanics and just focusing too much on competing and brute force and win at all costs because you want those medals, and then you pay for it later on. Because just as your mind can do the most incredible things and understand jiu-jitsu in a way that you couldn't perceive before, your body's unable to do it, you know, or struggles to do it, which is frustrating. So the message is, and we had a good chat about it, and I go, what's the likelihood that the new generation, the young guns, are going to listen to us? Because we didn't listen to our elders. They said the same things to us. My coach was telling me, hey, settle down, do this, you're young, you got too much testosterone, you want to win everything. You don't think about old age, you don't think about what's down the track, you just think about today and you go for it, you know. So I don't know how much impact our message has on the young generation, but we do our best to try and put it forth so they can learn from us. So it was an incredible trip. I've got hundreds and hundreds of videos to make my way through, and it's so much to try and absorb in a short period of time that you really don't try to. You absorb a couple of key points. I filmed everything. I've got lots and lots of videos. A lot of them are private because they're going to be used by the association to go on websites behind paywalls and things like that. So, but what I'm able to share, I'll share, and certainly what I show on my mat myself, I definitely always share with everybody. So it was an incredible trip. As a result, it looks like I'll be going to Melbourne early next year. I've got some trips to Sydney to see the guys at Hire, and it looks like September or October I'm off to the Greece camp to spend a whole week with Master Sauer. That will be incredible. It's 24 hours a week of near private tuition with the man, and I can't wait. Take all that information, assimilate it all, and pass it on to my students. I can't wait. 2026 is going to be an incredible year. It'll be the second year for this academy in this location, so it's exciting times. We've got lots of people signing up for next year. I can't wait. Anyway, have a great Christmas. It's not over yet. We've still got another few weeks training, so if you're considering training, come on down, and we'll have a good time and then get ready for next year. Bye, guys.